It's day 4 of the 31-day Safer Pilot Challenge. In this video, we're going to talk about lost comm procedures. Welcome to the Safer Pilot Challenge. Hey, MzeroA Online Ground School, Jason here. Who is 4 for 4 on the 31-day Safer Pilot Challenge? Check in down below, like and subscribe as well so you get all the videos coming up. If you're a little behind, you only got 3 videos to catch up on, no big deal. We're switching gears today. We're talking lost comm procedures. And so often we think lost comms, I lost my alternator, all these things that could happen. But sometimes you have to go back all the way to the basics when you lose comms and do some troubleshooting. You know, if you fly a bunch of different airplanes from your flight school, it could be quite possible that the intercom's just set up a little bit funny. You're transmitting on one, receiving on the other. The volume is turned down. Show of hands, who's ever been there before? I know I have, long story for another day. Or it could be a switch failure or issue. Remember, I was flying with a learner, a student who was very early on their train. They hadn't started on the radios just yet, and I was trying to call ATC, but my push to talk, my button wasn't transmitting. We could hear them, but I wasn't able to transmit. So I said, well, you know, they're not ready to talk on the radios. That'd be really trial by fire. So we swapped headsets, and I told them, hey, when I'm ready to talk, you push. Go ahead and push. And that's how we finished that flight. So I got my little $4 switch fix, what it ended up being. So I'd ask you, is it user error? Is it something small? Do you know how to program your intercom appropriately? Because you could be transmitting on one, but listening to the other. Do you even have the correct frequency on there? If you're wondering, why am I not hearing anything? Maybe grab a local ATIS, ASOS, AWOS with that. Also make sure, my switch was broken, make sure it's not stuck as well. You will come across, I know it won't be you, but you will come across a pilot sometime flying that'll have a stuck mic. And here's the thing, they don't even know it. And the other thing, you hear everything sometimes of what they're saying in the flight deck. Listen, even if you're not sure, can ATC hear me? Continue to transmit just in case. But let's break down our 2 scenarios. Lost comms VFR, lost comms IFR. I'm talking true lost comms. I lost my alternator or I've confirmed it's not user error. Something's wrong here. If we look in the FARing, 14 CFR 91-185 says each pilot shall continue the flight under VFR and land as soon as practical. Oh, well, okay, we can handle that. So that leaves some room here for some good choice. This doesn't mean, oh my goodness, I've lost my radios, I'm gonna put it down in this farmer's field or an unauthorized airport or unsuitable airport. No, the engine is still spinning. We're gonna keep flying this airplane. You see, it allows pilots to retain the prerogative of exercising your best judgment. Okay, so where should we go? You probably shouldn't go into Miami International or Orlando or Tampa. You should probably go to a nice little pilot-controlled, uncontrolled field instead. Because, you know, there's no regulations about using radios to communicate at a field like that, oddly enough. So we could simply observe the traffic pattern by flying above at traffic pattern altitude and looking out, seeing what's happening there, use the windsock to know which runway's in use, see what everybody's up to, join the appropriate traffic pattern, and land. Obviously have all your lights on so everybody can see you and everything else. Now, you also need to, in a lost comm scenario, need to squawk our lost comm squawk code of 7600. Remember, 7500, 7600, 7700. 75, taken alive, I've been hijacked. 76, technical glitch. Something's wrong with my radios. 77, going to heaven. I got a general emergency here. 76 is our lost comm transponder squawk code. However, if I have an alternator failure, I can squawk 7600 all I want. No one's gonna see it because, well, I've lost everything electrical in that situation. So do be mindful, even though you're squawking that, they may not know you're coming per se, or maybe they do. If you're going into controlled airspace, how do we handle this? Well, we'll go ahead and we'll circle above the tower. And then after receiving light gun signals from 91-125, we'll show that reg here in just a second, you enter the traffic pattern. So if you look, and this should be tabbed in your FAR, 91, 125. I personally carry a copy of a little like Excel spreadsheet that we made out showing all the light gun signals because it's a lot to remember. To know, hey, they're flashing a green light at me. There's a steady green light. What does that mean? Well, we need to know that not just for a check ride, but for the real world. Something else you can do as well. In the US chart supplement and most of your electronic flight bags, the number for the tower is listed there. And if you need it, you can always call the flight service station ahead of time, not when all this is happening, but to have it. I've got, of all the main airports I fly to, I have the tower's number. And if we can get cell phone coverage and connect the Bluetooth here to the headset, because that's independent of my main panel mounted Bluetooth, right? I can make a phone call. Hey, it's 2 Mike Zulu. I'm 20 miles out. I'm no radio. I'm coming into land. And they could strike, hey, we're really busy right now. Can you go somewhere else? They can tell you all that. Now that's VFR. What about scarier situation is IFR, lost comm situations? Well, it's in this order, and the acronym we use is Avenue F MEA. You're to fly your route in this order. My last assigned. My route last assigned by the ATC clearance I received. My last V, vectored. Direct route, point-to-point, radio failure, right? Whatever it was, where was I last vectored? My E is expected. It's that route that ATC told me, expect this, or expect further clearance. And lastly, the F is what did I file in my flight plan? And then the MEA portion, this is where we get our altitude from. Now, this isn't in order like the Avenue F portion. You're to choose the highest of these three. Your MEA, which means exactly what it means in IFR flying, our minimum en route altitude. Our expected altitude, climb, maintain 2,000, expect 6,000, 10 minutes after departure. That's an expected altitude. And then A is my assigned, last assigned altitude, the highest of those three. Then of course, there's the burning question. I've made it to my airport, now what? Well, if you're at what's called a clearance limit fix, are you at one from where the approach begins? If the answer is yes, it's pretty simple. We start our descent and approach as close to possible to the EFC time if one's been received. If one's not been received, though, as close as possible to your ETA or your amended ETE filed on your flight plan. If the answer was no to that first question there, leave your clearance limit at your EFC time or upon arrival over the clearance limit. Proceed to the fix from which the approach begins and commence your descent and approach as close to possible as your ETA. Now, this is why you'll always find me filing in the IFR environment. I'll file to a fix on the approach. If I'm going from Naples to Ocala, I'll file from Naples to Tulsa, an initial approach fix on the GPS and ILS for that matter, 3.6 at Ocala, then OCF. They know exactly where I'm going. They even know what approach I'm going to give a try. You have to spell it out sometimes like that. Always thinking ahead of the airplane. Hey, lost comms are a situation I never want you to find yourself in. I've personally done it 3 times. All 3 alternator failure related. You know what saved me all 3 times? A handheld radio. If you do not own a handheld radio, let this video, let it be a late Christmas present to yourself. Go out and buy a handheld radio. And not just the handheld, because it's a lot to be yelling in the handheld, then picking up your headset and trying to listen to it. Get the headset adapter and everything else so it makes it so much easier for you. A good pilot's always learning, and a good pilot is always prepared. Who has a handheld radio? And hey, put in the comments which one you like. I personally am flying with the Yaesu 850L now. Just upgraded from the 750 this past year. Great people. By no means sponsored by them. Certainly no kickbacks. Just the one I'm personally flying with right now. And I think they're really great people. So anyways, let me know your handheld selection in the comments below. Check in 4for4. Have a blessed, abundant, outstanding rest of your day. And most importantly, remember, a good pilot is always learning. Have a great day, everybody. See ya. Hey everyone, don't forget the MzeroA course prices are going up on February 1st. So head over to the MzeroA store to subscribe now and beat the increase. Existing members lock in their prices for as long as they maintain their subscription.